Full disclosure, I am recording this video on the afternoon of Tuesday, August 4th. We haven't played Game 3 yet. We don't know if the Hurricanes defeated the Rangers 3-0 in the series and swept them, but regardless of what happens, whether or not the Rangers win Game 3 or they lose Game 3, I think this topic still has the ability to be spoken about. And that is the end of an era, the end of King Lundqvist's reign in New York City. Have we seen the last of Henrik Lundqvist for the New York Rangers? What is up, viewer out there watching Henriks back here, and today we're doing a little bit of a future look towards the Rangers roster projections, and a lot of this is concerning for those who are fans of King Hank, who has been a New York Rangers starting goalie and legend pretty much for the past, decade and a half? Pretty much? Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Henrik Lundqvist was drafted by the New York Rangers as a 7th-round prospect, all the way back in the year 2000. He's 38 years old on an $8.5 million contract that expires in a year, and he ended up losing 2 straight against the Hurricanes. And because Igor Shesterkin is now healthy, he has been confirmed to start in Game 3. Of course, this video is uploaded on August 5th. You already know what happened in Game 3. But regardless of what happens in Game 3, there's already a ton of speculation from people like Larry Brooks in the New York Post and people on Reddit and Twitter asking the question on whether or not we've seen Henrik Lundqvist's last moments with the Blue Shirts. And it's not really the big, grandiose, sayonara kinda goodbye that we would have wanted to see, assuming it is what actually goes through. Now, this is because the New York Rangers are in a weird situation with their cap. They have $3.886 million in cap space at the moment, and with RFAs like Ryan Strome to re-sign, Brendan Lemieux to re-sign, guys like Anthony DeAngelo to re-sign, and guys like Alexander Georgiev to re-sign, there certainly is debate as to whether or not an $8.5 million Henrik Lundqvist contract is all the more needed under this salary cap structure. It's why there's been looming talks of a buyout, looming talks of a trade, things like that for Henrik Lundqvist, and an ultimate departure from New York, which is unfortunate to see. Because recently in Game 2, we did see Henrik Lundqvist give up 4 goals, and to be fair, they weren't really his fault. It's just a product of how the Rangers were actually playing, and the fact that they didn't score any goals either. And with Shesterkin in Game 3, that may be it. The Rangers are currently down 2-0 in the series as I'm recording this video. One more loss and they're out. And in my opinion, there is no virtual way the Rangers are going to get Lundqvist back as a starter consistently throughout these play-in series and eventually the playoffs, even assuming they start winning games and they come back in the series. Now, of course, you know what happened in the series. Who knows if they're already eliminated? If they're already eliminated, then that cements the point even further. Because if they are already eliminated, it means that Igor Shesterkin, even though he's great, was not good enough to keep the Rangers in it, and now they're heading back to the showers as the first NHL team to be eliminated from the postseason. Of course, though, that's only if they actually lose. But even if they win, in my opinion, there's only really one scenario where I see Henrik Lundqvist actually becoming the guy back for New York throughout this series, and he's gonna have to beat out his other 2 goalies in order to do it. Igor Shesterkin's already confirmed to start in Game 3. Let's say this guy has a terrible game. He lets in 5 goals and 5 shots. Georgiev comes in because they also got him dressed, and he also kind of craps the bed too. He lets in goals, it's not great, but the Rangers still find a way to win. The only way I see Henrik Lundqvist actually coming back is if the Rangers are able to score a heck of a lot more goals than the opposition, with Shesterkin and Georgiev also giving up a heck of a lot of goals. And the realism of that is just not really there. It's really not possible, isn't it? For Georgiev and Shesterkin to play so poorly that they're forced to put Lundqvist back in as a starter while also scoring as many goals to combat the goaltending, pulling worthy performances of their other 2 guys. It's just not possible, that's not gonna happen, and Lundqvist is pretty much done. If the Rangers end up winning this game today on August 4th against the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 3, And it's all Shesterkin. It's a Shesterkin show, the brand new rookie in New York who comes in here and steals the game for New York. Then they're not going to pull this guy. They're going to keep him in, and they're going to be forced to ride the momentum that Shesterkin was carrying with him throughout the regular season. Said regular season already saw a big Lundqvist controversy with Alexander Georgiev, who beat out Lundqvist in terms of goals against average and save percentage in the split time that they both shared the crease. You already had a goalie controversy before. Add Igor Shesterkin, who is crazy good, who's only $925,000 because he's on an entry-level deal, and who is just looking to get better as a 24-year-old guy, and you have yourselves what looks to be an easy decision to make. And Larry Brooks said it best. He published this article earlier yesterday. Even though Lundqvist wasn't bad, the Rangers just weren't all too great to compensate for how many goals he let in. And if you have a better goalie, who many people believe is a better goalie available in Igor Shesterkin, you play him instead of Lundqvist. That's it, plain and simple. Is Henrik Lundqvist still capable of being an NHL player? Absolutely, yes. We saw that in Game 1. The guy was crazy good. It's just Mark Stahl, man. Mark freaking Stahl. That's all I'm gonna say. But with all the context of the salary cap and the other goalies and the RFAs and the way they're going to have to proceed forward with this play-in series, assuming they win Game 3, which you know if they did or if they didn't, it appears that Henrik Lundqvist's time is ticking down. And now, Rangers fans may be on the cusp of having witnessed Henrik Lundqvist's last game as a New York Ranger. It may have been Game 2, maybe it's a Game 3 or a Game 4 if an Igor Shesterkin or a Georgiev craps the bed and gives up a whole bunch of goals and he comes in as a backup. But we may be seeing the end. And I don't know how I feel about that. Lundqvist is a top goalie of all time. He was a Vezina winner back in 2012, a consistently great all-star goalie, and it's kind of weird talking about how his career in New York may be over, but at the same time, he's 38 years old, so there is definitely some youthful qualities that you could see more in Georgiev and Shesterkin. But even if he does leave New York, if they buy him out, if they trade him, whatever, I don't really think this is the end of Lundqvist's career per se, just the New York part of his career. I don't think there's any NHL team that wouldn't want to have a Lundqvist as a backup or something, even if he's at an $8.5 million cap hit. If he gets bought out, you can re-sign him to another deal, plain and simple. Even so, if there's no team out there that wants to have him, there's no way he doesn't go back to Frölunda and play with his brother. He's still kicking it over there, and they're still doing pretty well. His brother, by the way, twin brother, he's a guy who's been noted by Swedish hockey players as a very, very good hockey player and captain-like player. Back in 2017 for the Swedish World Championship, Joel Lundqvist had the captaincy over guys like Nick Backstrom, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Gabriel Landeskog, Victor Hedman, Edler, Strawman, very good NHL-caliber players, but Joel Lundqvist was the captain. And he didn't do all too well point production-wise either. He was like third last on the team in points. So you can kind of see the reputation of how great these Swedish players can be. But Henrik Lundqvist, though, going over to Frölunda would honestly still be one of the better goalies in that league. Not to disrespect any of the SHL goaltenders, but to be an NHL caliber guy for so long and to eventually take your talent somewhere else where, I don't know, the talent is debatably not as strong as where you came from before. Same thing with Joe Thornton in the Swiss League. To me, there certainly is a lot that Henrik Lundqvist could achieve if he goes over to Frölunda in the SHL and starts playing over there. But we'll see. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen, but the idea still stands that Henrik Lundqvist's last days as a Ranger may have already gone down, if not, maybe approaching us very, very soon. So talk to me in the comments what you think about Henrik Lundqvist's performance in the play-in series this season and just how good he needs to be to get that starting job back, and whether or not that's even possible, because in my opinion, it's not. Just with how good Shesterkin and Georgiev are, it's going to be so difficult, nearly impossible, for Henrik Lundqvist to get that crease back for the remainder of this playoffs or even play-in series. So, tell me what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. So that's 9, and bye.